To you that have been chosen for Chevening Interview, congratulations to you. This is an amazing feat. You've beaten down thousands and thousands and thousands of people worldwide to get in there. I believe already by now you've already booked the slots for your interview and you've confirmed the time and the date and your location. Last year, while I was doing my Chevening interview, I was asked if I want to do online. Oh no, there was no online available for Nigerians. No, there was no online for Nigerians. It was basically Abuja and Lagos, and I booked my interview for Lagos and all. But here are critical mistakes that I made during my interview that I don't want you to make. And now for a baseline, I also was chosen for Chevening Interview, and I booked my interview in Lagos for the 11th of April 2022. But when the result came out, I didn't make it for Chevening, but I got Commonwealth scholarships, Commonwealth Shade scholarships and all. So I asked Chevening for my feedback. What exactly did I do wrong that I wasn't selected? Because I practiced with some people that got selected. So what was my problem? Why was I not selected for the scholarship? And they sent me feedback. Though the feedback was not personalized to me, it was a generic feedback that they usually sent for people. But I sat down to digest those feedback, and I feel there's one or two things I learned from the feedback that I feel was the problem and everything. So in this video, I am going to list out 5 common mistakes that you can make, especially if you have been chosen for Chevening Interview and this is the first time that you are being chosen for the interview. And I believe that if you learn from these mistakes, you would be finally be chosen for Chevening, and by this year September we will meet in the UK for your studies and everything. So congratulations once again. I'm going to give out 5 tips, and at the end of this video I am going to add another bonus tip. So if I were you, I would stay down to the end. People will say listen to people that have failed, because you pick crucial mistakes from that. I am sitting out here doing this video because these are mistakes that I made, and I don't want it to be repetitive with you, because I want you to succeed. I want this to be your testimony. So in as much as you're learning from people that actually got the actual Chevening, also learn from other people's mistakes, because you might pick very crucial lessons from it. So let's dive right in. Mistake number 1 I made was I got a list of previous questions and answers that spanned over 7 pages from people that reviewed my Chevening essays. You know, they reviewed my essays because they had gotten Chevening and they had previous questions and answers. So in these question and answers, so many questions was being asked. Like we had over 20 questions inside that. It was like a past question of 5 years ago, 10 years ago of Chevening questions that they kept asking and all. Some of you might already have a copy of that already and all. Do you know what I did? I sat down to digest all of those questions, all of those answers, and I had, okay, the result came out, yeah, like the interview result came out on the 15th of February, and my interview was slated for 11th of April. So I literally had like 2 months to prepare. That's really a good time to actually prepare for an interview. But this was the problem. I was working full-time. I had other engagement that I was doing at the same time I was preparing for the interview. So I wasn't preparing for interview except in the evenings that I had time to prepare for it. And I started early. Please start early. It's very important. But do not get those. Focus on your essay, what you wrote in your essay. Because in my interview, I was only asked not 4 questions, but focus on the other questions that came with like a generative of the 4 major questions that they usually ask. You know, your leadership question, your networking question, why you want to study in the UK, and your career plans, etc. Other questions that came out from there were basically questions from what I already know and etc. It was not like the past question that I was given and I sat down to cram it. Please do not do that. Do not get those. Do not. You can peruse through it and have an idea, but don't focus your energy and your attention on those questions. Focus on your 4 major essay questions that Chevening usually asks, and the one you submitted during your application that actually got you to this stage. Focus basically on that. Now, once you get into the interview stage, you're going to ask you an ungraded question in the interview room. And one of the ungraded questions is tell me about yourself. You know, when I asked you tell me about yourself, I was all about myself, the things I've done professionally, the lives I've impacted. There was nothing fun that I mentioned about it. And I think that was really a problem. So in everything you're doing, mention something fun, something exciting, something that is not just about professionalism, work, 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 book, life. Talk about other things that makes your life exciting and interesting, because you don't want a bookworm. They want somebody interesting and exciting and also have perspective into other views and matters of life. It really give you an edge as you're preparing for your interview. The third thing is, do not practice using script. If you practice using script, oh my god, you will be cramming when you get in there. This is a mistake that I made. Because I mean, I had the questions and I wrote down the possible answers that I'm going to use, but I practiced using script and all. So I was just basically cramming, and that was a problem. So when I don't have the script, it became a problem. You wouldn't be very vocal about what you're saying. You wouldn't be confident, even though it is your story. The anxiety and the anxiousness will just be there, and you'll be able to say exactly what you're supposed to say. So what I advise is, instead of you practicing using script, why don't you, after you've written down your possible answers, record yourself in an audio format and replay it in your head and in your brain. When you replay it, those things sink inside your unconsciousness. It sinks down inside your unconsciousness. So when it sinks in your unconsciousness, when you're talking about the stories and you're explaining it to somebody, it doesn't come from a perspective of I'm cramming. It comes from a position of deep understanding that this is my story. So as new insights are coming into how you should refine your story, you can re-record another one and keep listening to it. This is a killer method. If you use this method, definitely you're going to win your Chevening scholarships. It's very important. So ensure you do that. Don't cram. Record an audio and save it and listen to it every single time. I had friends that time that were very obsessed with this interview. When they're in the bathroom, when they're sleeping, they're imagining the interview and everything. It's really an exciting and a joyful period, and you want to make the best of the opportunity. Do not cram. I repeat again, do not cram. Rather, record an audio and listen to it. Listen to your story. Let your story come alive inside of you, first of all, and you'll be able to tell it to others that I want to fund your dream confidently and audaciously, voraciously, the boldness and the beautiful thing that comes out of it. So please do that. The fourth is, regardless of every other thing, before you actually got into this stage of interview on Chevening, you did a thorough research on Chevening Interview, on Chevening website about it. Now that you've been selected for interview, please go back to Chevening website and read more about what their interview actually entails, what is required of you. Do not rely on say. Do not rely on YouTube videos. Do not rely on blog posts. Do not rely on LinkedIn posts and every other sources of information, even previous scholars, because you're only going to hear one perspective. You will not hear from the horse's mouth. But when you go to Chevening website, you would see what they require of you, what they need you to do for you to actually win, to ace this interview. Is very important. Research thoroughly on the Chevening website. Is going to go a long way to help you. The fifth one, but not the least, I think one mistake I made is do not answer another question when you are asked a different question. Reflecting about it, I remember that in my leadership essay, they asked me professionally what I have done leadership, and they asked for 2 examples. And I only talked about one example of my leadership of professionally, and the other one was not really professionally, but it was a leadership example that I wrote in my essay. I think that was where I made a crucial mistake. I'm only up to my mistake now because I reflected back on it. So listen carefully when you are being asked a question. When you're asked to give a professional example, please give a professional example. If you're asked to give a non-professional example, give a non-professional example. Do not mix the 2 of them together because it's going to hurt you. I'm smiling today because I had another opportunity. Not an equivalent, if not a better opportunity. So that's why I'm smiling today. But you might not have that opportunity. So make the best of what you have in your hands. The bonus tip I said I'm going to give you at the end of this video is pray always. There's nothing the Lord cannot do. Pray always. Pray about your interview. Pray about the people that you're going to meet there. They are just people that you meet, and whatever they say already discourage you. So pray that the people that you're going to meet there are people that you're going to find favor in their sight and in their eyes. There won't be people that would be making the job hard for you to do. So these are the tips I have for you. I hope with this you can go ahead and ace your interview and come back and give me testimonial, because I love good news. And please come back and do that. So as a recap, my name is MFONISO Udo, and I am a Commonwealth scholar studying at the University of Warwick. And this is me telling you about my Chevening interview journey and the mistakes that I made, and I don't want you to make it. I hope with these tips you'll be able to do amazing things. Share this video to your friends that have gotten the Chevening interview and are preparing for the interview, because it will really help them if you learn from more or less a failure perspective, you know, and add it up to what you already learned from the success perspective. It will add up for you to have an holistic story. Till I see you next time, stay blessed and have a great life while you subscribe to this channel, because more new content and exciting ones are coming your way. Love you all.